Hey, Puddin', it is completely messed up. Going to definitely need a rental. Yes, sir. Thanks for asking, but I'm okay, thankfully. The deer did not survive, but you saw it. Yep, that's the fourth deer I've killed in the last year with that same vehicle, so I guess it's about time that vehicle needs to go to the body shop big time. I had to pry the fender off of the wheel and I was able to drive back an hour and a half to get back to this house. And fat guy, I'm not sure what you're asking, but the news is I'm trying to get this fire to light so everybody can enjoy a nice fire. Here we go. We got a little something. Well, you can have virtual s'mores. There we go. Now we're getting some action. Putin, are you still there? Yeah, the fire's having a hard time coming up. But here are pictures of. So I had to pry all that off the tire to make it back here. right, let me figure out why this fire ain't taking off. This is crazy. Yep, it definitely left a mark. Luckily, I crashed about 500 feet from a very nice country bar, and the bartender gave me Gorilla tape and a pry bar. Salway, how are you? Oh yeah, insurance will take care of it, but I still had 5.5 hours to drive, and so it was better for me to turn around and come back here. And in the morning, I will figure out. Like I already called in the claim, but hopefully they can get me a rental because I have work in Chicago tomorrow at 4 in the afternoon. So it's 6 hours, and with traffic, it's almost 7. So hopefully it works out. Sawe, your monkey guys got me tonight. They scared a deer. The deer ran in front of my truck, and I crashed. Sawe, can you see that? Yeah, including me. And the worst part is I was actually paying attention to the road and there was nothing I could do. There was no way to stop the vehicle. And I'm glad I'm okay too, Salway. But Jello Putin, he watched it happen. And now this damn fire just does not want to light. Salway, if you have a story tonight, that'd be awesome. Get it queued up if you want to. I'm not going to make you, but your stories have been really good. So the messed up thing is, last night I had a dream. I had a dream about an F-150, but it was that somebody was getting a new one. I wonder if I predicted the future. Very odd. Hopefully, if it is a new one, it's a platinum like I have. I just need this fire to take hold. I don't know why it is not taking off tonight. The wood's drier than ever. Yeah, I got small kindling. It's just not catching. And my trick usually, I like to use paper towels, and it catches the kindling and it goes crazy. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go forage for some more. All right, stand by, Salway. Let me just get the let me get this fire going, because once the fire, people see the fire on the live stream, they you'll have a bigger audience. And I strongly encourage you to put your YouTube channel up. Hopefully this does the trick. Give it a second. Let's see if it takes hold. Yes, I'm fine, but the deer did not survive. Thank you, Boo. And right now we're having technical difficulties with the campfire, so give it a second. It was lit when I took the first picture, and then it died as I added wood to it, thinking it was hot enough. And Salway is standing by with a great story for us. So as soon as this thing ignites, it'll be showtime. And Boo, if you could subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and hit the alarm. We have a lot of great people that come by and share. And normally during this waiting for the fire, I would turn the camera to the lake, but it's a cloudless night and it's pitch black out here, except for the two solar lights out in the distance. But we got some action happening with the fire. There's just a lot of smoke, so give it a second for the smoke to clear, and hopefully this will be what we were waiting for. Oh, awesome. Hopefully Ferret is makes an appearance tonight. Even the kindling won't ignite right now. I don't know why. It is so dry. Everything should light. That's why we're doing it in a barrel and not in the fire pit, so we don't burn down the woods up here. Oh, that was a little close. I felt my hair want to start on fire. Well, it's making a little bit of traction, but it still has not caught all that kindling I showed you guys. This is just the paper towel, so hopefully the paper towel will ignite the kindling, which will ignite the little kindling, which will ignite the big logs. Sorry it's so boring so far. But Kasabu, you haven't gotten to see the car crash, so let me pull the pictures up. So that is all the crap on the tire that I had to pry to drive back here. The front end of my beautiful truck, all messed up. That light just wiggles. It's connected by just its wires. So it could have been a lot worse, but the deer died instantly. Are you in New York as well? I think that's where Ferret said they are. So I'm in Michigan and Illinois. Tonight I am in Michigan. I was heading back to Illinois when I hit the deer. Oh dear. So I was able to pry the front end off the wheel. I drove an hour and a half back to this house here. And in the morning, I'm going to drive it to the body shop unless the insurance company decides they want a tow. Luckily, there were no fluids leaking. That's why I felt it was safe enough to drive it back. And luckily, also, it did not deploy the airbags because it got hit just to the side, I think, of where the sensors are. So, no, there is no tow. At first, I thought I was going to definitely need one because I thought I was immobilized, but luckily, I hit the deer about 500 feet from a country bar, and I pulled in the parking lot, and everybody came outside to see what the commotion was. And the bartender was super nice. She came out and she's like, "Oh, I have this." 'Cause I had a pry bar in my truck, but it was only about 12 inches, and it was not did not give me enough leverage to get the crap off the tire. So she had a pole in the storage room. She gave me a pole, and between the pole, my Sawzall, and um, the Gorilla tape she gave me, I was able to tape the car back together to keep the headlights up, and I was able to pry everything off. So I was able to drive back. Uh, Normally, it would have taken an hour from where it was, but it took me about an hour and a half because I had to drive slow. I know, too much boring information, but luckily it worked out the way it did, because it would have been a huge inconvenience for me to have to bother somebody to come pick me up or the tow or whatever. But the repair place is like an hour from here. So if the insurance company says I can bring it there in the morning, I will bring it. Otherwise, they'll have it towed, whatever they want. And then the rental car place is like an hour and a half, 2 hours from here. So hopefully I can work that out, because I do have to be at work in Chicago at 4 o'clock tomorrow. Do you guys hear all that? Something just went on in the lake. Damn it. You can't. Oh, it's like a duck landed or something, or eagle's attacking a duck. I don't know. Yeah, you can't even, there with no moon. You can't see anything over there. That sucks. And this fire right now is bullshit. I feel like I'm letting everybody down tonight. We started the night looking for hitchhiking ghosts, wound up hitting a deer, and now we're sitting at a fire that's not being a fire. For sure, country people are the best folks out there. And a drunk guy offered to drive me home. I decided not to take him up on his offer. I don't know why none of the kindling is catching. It was so dry. This is crazy. We're getting a little bit of traction. Right, Sally? Yeah, you're right. Definitely not the scary I needed tonight. All right, I say give it about 2 minutes, and I think we're getting some traction now. Murphy's Law. If you have a barrel filled with dried twigs and plenty of paper towel, it will not ignite when you have a live show happening. As a backup, I do have one of those fire logs, but those are cheating. Yeah, but this fire is nothing compared to the fire we had the other night, and the other night took no effort. I didn't even need kindling. I just put the big logs in there, and the coals from the night before just started right up. And this thing was, I pretty well extinguished it before I left because I knew I wasn't, or I thought I wasn't coming back tonight. So that's probably why this is such a pain in the ass. Jello, you might have spoke too soon. It just doesn't want to stay lit. I don't know what the deal is. Everything short of gasoline is in that thing. And I'm not a big fan of throwing gas on a fire when it's already lit. There is no freaking reason why this thing is not going up. I just don't understand. More paper towels. By the time this is over, I will have used the whole roll of paper towels at this rate. What the hell?
The pega. The pega.
Well, that freaked me out. Yeah, I think I'm gonna grab the cheating log in a second. Let me just try this last good effort right here. At this rate, poor Salway's gonna fall asleep waiting for this to happen. Jello, you were there when I had the accident. What would you have done? Like, what if it wasn't minor like it was? Like, it was not minor for the deer, and luckily I was able to get the truck to move again. But what would you have done? Like, all right, finally we have action. No, I'm saying, but what if like I got knocked unconscious or the thing rolled over or got hit by another car? You know, like all the things that could have happened because you saw me swerve to avoid the deer and it just kept coming because that would have been right in the front of, like I would have hit head on, but I swerved. Yeah, deer probably was suffering from depression. Yeah, kids, be on the lookout for suicidal deer. All right, Sawe, hit it. Yeah, but I enjoy it. Trying to make it a full time life. Unfortunately, I have to mix it with the city to make some money. All right, so to bring everybody up to speed who hasn't been here before or maybe missed Sawe's previous stories, Sawe's entire life, he has been plagued with different crypto type animals uh, showing up. Some are almost like hairless monkeys with permanent smiles. Some are full on furry albino creatures. He got attacked by a bloodthirsty Robin Hood who happened to be a vampire. So Sawe says this one isn't as scary as his previous stories, but it's interesting. And I can really feel the heat. Hopefully the camera can't. Sawi says, and my mom told me about it actually, as I was too young to remember. Sounds good, Putin. When my older cousin was young, he was afraid to be, he was afraid to be by the stairs in our guest. Oh, sorry. I'm going to restart this whole thing because I'm completely stupid. Sawe says his mom actually told him this story as he was too young to remember it. When Sawe's older cousin was young, he was afraid to be by the stairs in his house because of a ghost. While we wait for Sawe to type that, it reminded me of a story. So, one of my girlfriends growing up, she lived in an old house that was built in the 1800s, and they had the excuse me ghost. So you go up the staircase to go upstairs, and something would brush past you and say excuse me. You'd never see it, but you'd feel it brush past you, and you'd get like a cold chill down your spine when it would happen. Back to Sawe's stories. Years later, I was born. When I was just old enough to speak, I pointed to the same staircase, telling my mom that there was a ghost there. Which reminds me of the Christmas story. So while we wait for Sawe to type, when I was 5 or 6 years old, I was the youngest kid at this Christmas party, right? So I was the oldest grandkid, and none of them were born yet. So I was 5 or 6. It was a party with all adults, and like I was bored. There was nothing to do, so I was sitting in the living room. There's this big Christmas tree and a roaring fire, and like to keep myself occupied, like I was just staring at these ornaments, and all the ornaments were beautifully fake but beautifully wrapped candies, like hard candies and candy canes, and the red and white hard candies that look like candy canes that are circular, and lollipops. It was all Christmas themed. And so I'm staring at these candies that I already knew were fake because I asked about it because I wanted one. And so I'm sitting on the couch staring at this stuff, and out of the corner of my eye, I see the fire like do something different. So I'm looking at the fire, and as I'm watching the fire, this big black shadowy thing came out of the fire, and I saw these big eyes. I don't remember if there were teeth or not, and the thing was like coming right for me, and I jumped the couch and landed on the tree, knocking the tree over. And with all the commotion, the adults came running in the room, and I got in huge trouble for it, but I never said what I saw. In fact, I didn't tell anybody what I saw for probably 10 or 12 years after that happened. And now I'm telling all of you. All right, so back to Sawe's story. So just to recap, his mom told him the story because he was too young to remember. When his older cousin was young, he was afraid to go by the stairs in Sawe's house because of a ghost. Years later, Sawe was born. And when Sawi was just old enough to speak, he pointed to the same staircase, telling his mom that there was a ghost there. Sawi's mom always thought it was weird how we both thought that there were ghosts there, even though he didn't tell me about it. So as we wait for Sawi to type more, do you see the shapes in this fire? I've seen a couple faces so far. So that's the end of that story, but Sawi has another one that's a little bit more interesting. Does anybody else want to hear it? Or are you guys bored and just want to stare at the fire? I find Sawi's stories very interesting personally. But a little bit of input from the crowd would be very helpful. Sawi, I say go for it. Yeah, I always wondered if it meant that somebody died on the staircase and it's like a residual haunt that just keeps repeating itself, repeating itself, repeating itself. Because sadly, a lot of haunts are associated with suicides. Sawe says, when I was 13, me and my family had a mini vacation at Lake Ontario. We initially were just going up to visit my cousin who was in college up there, but we made a trip out of it. Sawi says, our hotel was on a canal that connected to the lake. The room was very nice with a balcony. I went out into that balcony to stare out at the canal. Right then, I saw something in the water. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and please consider giving us a thumbs up. Right now, Sawi is telling a story and we're just waiting for him to type it. Sawi says, it appeared to be a gray hump. I took a picture of it on my phone. I zoomed in on it and it appeared to be have a snake-like head. I gotta move the camera back a little bit, it's getting hot. And if you were with me on one of the streams when the camera got too hot, it shut down. And we don't need that. We've been through some stuff already tonight. Dead deer and car crashes, oh my. The flames on this thing right now are about 7 feet tall. So it went from 0 to hero in a very short amount of time. And there's faces galore. Sam Salway says, unfortunately, that picture was on my old phone that wasn't backed up. But I did research on the lake, Ontario, and I discovered that there had been sightings of sea serpents in that lake for many years. Well, Salway, it's pretty awesome that you got to see that, and you did document it. Unfortunately, it did not stand the test of time. Oh, do you guys look at that? Look at the bottom. Let me see. Well, no, it won't let me zoom in. Oh, right down there. It actually looks like a jack-o'-lantern. The little thing that's sparking. Can I? No. That sucks. I wish I could zoom in on that. I'm gonna take a picture with my phone. So it says I cannot zoom in. Why can't I zoom in? All right, so and zooming in doesn't, it doesn't look good when I zoom in. All right, according to Cryptid Wiki, take it with a grain of salt. The last reported sighting was in the 1970s, so I may have very well had one of the most recent sightings, or maybe the first one in decades. Well, that is freaking awesome, Sawe. And I tried zooming in on this thing, and it is not having it. It doesn't look good when I zoom in on it, but at least I can see it. All right, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this or not, but I'm going to try. No, the uh, the moon is trying to pop through the clouds, and it looks really cool, but it's just not being captured on video well. Does anybody else have any stories they want to share tonight? Or do you guys want me to give you another one of mine? Which is probably going to be a repeat because my brain is tired. But I don't think anybody out here tonight has heard, except for Sawe, I don't think anybody else has heard any of the stories that we have, or I have. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and giving a thumbs up. Unless your thumb is broken, and in that case, you don't have to, but hopefully your thumb's not broken, you could just do the thumbs up. We're all ears. I'm more than happy to read what you have. My only request is that they're original from you and not you're not reading out of a book or copying and pasting. But yeah, that's awesome. We probably have 45 minutes to an hour of battery left. Yeah, that's even better. Those are my favorite. because it just confirms what I already know and or have seen. I've seen stuff my entire life, and I've seen stuff in places you'd least expect it. While you're typing your experience, I'll tell everyone a story from when I was in high school and college. I worked for an ice cream store. You may have heard of it, Baskin Robbins. And before, when it was just Baskin Robbins and Dunkin' Donuts had nothing to do with it, where it was just ice cream, I would, um, like early on when I worked there, I would start at like 1 in the afternoon. But when I finished high school and I was in college, my schedule was more flexible, so I'd open the store, and we opened every day at 11 a.m. But I would get there about 10:15 to open. So this one particular day was a Wednesday, and it was cold out, and I get to the store to unlock the door, and this woman is standing out in front, and she's pissed. She's so mad. She's like, why were you not open? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, we open at 11. And she's like, no, I was here last week, Wednesday, and the store was open at 10, and this nice older lady helped me. And I'm like, we don't have an older lady that works here. And she's like, yeah, you do, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, what does she look like? And so she described her. So I invited the woman into the store and told her, even though we're not open, I'm going to serve her, but please wait out in front for a second. So I went to the back by my boss's desk, and he had this photo of his old manager. We'll call her Val just for the story, but that's not her real name. Well, actually, no. Her name was Rose, okay? Her name was Rose, and there's a reason why I have to keep her real name. So I go grab the picture of Rose. I show it to the lady. The lady's like, yes, that was her. She's the one that took my cake order, and she served me and my kid a scoop of whatever. So I'm like, well, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but Rose has been dead for at least 10 years. Like, this is her memorial picture. And the lady, like, totally turned white and tried to tell me that I was like playing this horrible prank on her. But the truth was, Rose had been dead for at least 10 years. So when I told the owner, when the owner came in later, and this guy, Jack, was the afternoon guy coming in. So I told both of them the story. So Jack told the owner, he's like, roses are red, violets are blue. Rose is dead, but she still works for you. Boo, are you ready to go with your story? All right, let's have it. All right, so Boo says, on the ghost staircase subject, one afternoon my mom and I were hanging out in the kitchen with a friend. It was only the three of us. He stayed for about an hour and got into his truck and then left. And Sawe, will you please put your YouTube up? Share the your channel so people, if they want to find you, they can. Boo says only her and I were in the house. That would be her mother and Boo were in the house. And they heard audible, loud footsteps walking heavily from the living room to the staircase, then stopped at the bottom of the staircase. Boo says, we thought our friend had come back into the house, forgetting something, but he didn't. We called him asking if he had come back, but no. That was a great story, though. That reminds me of the story I told the other night. I was at a job where I had to go to different buildings that were either abandoned and for sale or just abandoned. And I have to go through and make sure nobody had broken in, and on occasion winterize them by pouring like a substance down the drain so the drains wouldn't freeze. And in this one particular house around the south side of Chicago, and it was partially boarded up. So I go in there and I check out the different levels. It was a 3-story and it had a basement. So I go all the way up through the house and take pictures showing that none of the windows were broken and that whatever, like nobody was there. Pardon me. So I go all the way up, nobody's there. I take all the pictures. I go all the way down, and then I start the winterizing process in the basement. I check that the water's shut off and all that stuff. And I'm shutting off the water, and clear as day, I hear somebody walking above me. So I quickly like run upstairs and I check. The front door is still locked. I check the whole floor, nobody's there. Now I hear somebody walking on the second floor above me. So I run up the stairs and I check, and nobody's on the second level. So now I'm on the second level. I start to hear somebody walking on the third level, and it was footsteps, you, the creaking, everything. Like somebody's totally above me. There's no mistaking it. So I quickly run up to the third level, and there's nowhere to go. Everything's closed. All the windows are closed, and nobody's up there. So I just went about my business, and I kept hearing somebody walking above me, and I wound up locking the door and leaving when I was finished. And that house, I marked like, there's a ghost here. Well, I want to thank Salwe and Kasabu for their stories. They were great. Thank you guys for contributing. I'm getting tired, and it's kind of been a long night. So I'm just kind of let the fire fade out. I'll let the camera roll until the batteries die, unless anybody has any questions or anybody else has a story. Oh, no problem at all. And I don't know what Ferret told you, but we do a little bit of everything. Like, lots of things interest me. I do a big yard hunt, and so when we're in my Chicago location at night, I work on that. So we're painting dolls right now. I'm trying to do hundreds of dolls. And on this trip, I actually found a new addition. So I guess I can show that to you guys now. Um, I actually did a little photo shoot with him. I was at a cemetery on Tuesday. So this guy here, he actually doesn't need any, he's creepy, but he's covered in filth. He's porcelain, cracked already. I got him at a flea market for $1. Yeah, and actually, he was in the front seat with me when I hit the deer, so he might have also been responsible for that. It hit the side where he was. And we were at the Irish Hollow Cemetery the other day. And that live video is, I posted it. Well, I mean, it's up there for sure. And the nice thing about him is he would cost $1 and I don't have to do anything to him. I might add some glue just so he doesn't deteriorate anymore while he's outside, but he's awesome. And this is from the fire the other night. I don't know why it's not showing up. Uh, can you guys see right where my thumb is blocking? There's a dude standing behind the fire, and I'm the only when I here. You can there. It's totally a face. I'll do a post of it. Uh, but it's totally a face. Like there's totally somebody staring back at me through the fire while I was doing this stuff. I just got a feeling that I was being watched, and I snapped some pictures. So I just did my first poll. I didn't know I could do that. Oh, Kasabu, you're into creepy dolls too? Did you see any of the ones that we already made? Because I don't think I have a way to show them to you right now. The photos of the dolls are on my other phone. All right, so far we have one vote to keep the stream going. Oh, uh, good question. I never did a poll before, so end the stream is yes. Keep it going is no. Okay, so end the stream is yes. If you want to keep it going, then no, don't end the stream. And it's a split. Yeah, because if we keep it going, I need to throw more wood on it. So yes is to end it, no is to keep it going. And you approve of the dolls that you saw? I have more supplies, so I'm gonna try and do some slightly different things. But one of the things I like to do is I like to have audience participation. So I ask you guys what we're gonna do, and and we all kind of decorate them together. Like one night we found a Goldilocks doll, and I think it was actually Salway that suggested that we do. And Salway, you can step in and say for sure, but Salway suggested that Goldilocks gets attacked by the bears, so we made her look like she lost a hand, or at least the fingers on her hand. And then in the process, I cut myself when I was trying to cut her fingers off. And yeah, we bloodied her up, and somebody looked up and found out that bears have 4 claws. And so we did 4 slashes on her face. We shredded her clothing. So it was kind of fun. But I'm a very creative person, but you guys really helped me make it more creative, or make me more creative than I would have been, because your ideas really get my brain going when I'm making stuff. And then Sawway, if you're still there, I don't know or not, but the other night up here we lost all internet. So up here we're truly in the middle of nowhere. There, everything is wireless. The only thing we have is power. So I have electric running here. And so the other night, for whatever reason, for about 45 minutes, all the internet went down. So I have satellite internet and I have Verizon, a 4G wireless router. And both of those services were down for 45 minutes. So that's why all of a sudden you guys, I think it was you and KM we were all doing whatever with this fire, and then all of a sudden everything just went dead. So it was not a prank on my part. I was like, I thought America was under attack. Like I had no way to figure out what was happening. And the local radio station here was just playing music. So, and there's no like live 24-hour news on the radio. So I'm like, crap, there was some kind of big attack and all the internet's out, but they must have just done something up here. But it's rare that I lose satellite and I lose the wireless and during the when it's clear out. It was completely clear on Tuesday night, whereas tonight is completely cloudy, and as you can tell from this stream, it's way, way, way clearer than it was even that night. So there must have been something going on with the internet that night. So I apologize for that. But I guess I'll show you guys one more picture. So this doll, uh, it's another. It's the same one. I just kind of uh, laid him in like by a tombstone. But his name is actually Nathan. Yes, I named him Nathan. It kind of spoke to me, and that was the name that I felt fit him the best. Sawway, the video right now, it kind of looks like a view into the 67th layer of hell, where you reside. Oh, that's funny. I've had a lot of moments like that in the last week where I've said a name and somebody's been like, that really hit close to home. Like I named one of the dolls Solus Kristen, and one of the people with an unrelated name stated that that was hit really close to home. And then they emailed me like, how did you know my name? I'm like, I didn't know your name. That was the first name that came to me. But I have little episodes like that all the time. I don't consider myself psychic, but maybe intuitive without realizing it, like an idiot savant, maybe. I don't know. Yep, but there are no coincidences. That's the thing that people don't realize. If you follow the dots and the clues, the truth is standing right in front of you. And tonight I am drinking my favorite watermelon water that you can only find at the Quick Trip with a K in Wisconsin. And we're in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, so to get back to Illinois, I have to drive through the entire state of Wisconsin. I do this trip like 3 or 4 times a month, therefore, I am very familiar with the Quick Trips with the K. Yep, still at the lake, and like I said earlier, like here, this the lake is right here, but it is completely cloud covered, so you can't see it. And I don't have my huge flashlight with me right now. Otherwise, I would shine it, light it up. But the reason why I call it the creepy lake is because last year I was taking pictures of the fire, and the dude showed up in the picture, and then coincidentally, I was talking to somebody else on the lake, and they said that their grandkids saw this guy by their fire. And then the other night, I took a still picture. I think it was Tuesday night. I took a still picture of the fire, and sure enough, the guy was in the picture again. During the day, it's beautiful, but at night, it is dark and creepy. And I wish you guys could hear it. I'm sure it's not picking up on camera, but wolves just started howling out in the distance. Luckily, they're across the lake from me, based on the sound. But yeah, I was not supposed to sleep at the lake tonight. I was supposed to be in Chicago, and I was supposed to arrive around 2 in the morning. But because of the accident, I am here. And I actually would have been arriving right now in Chicago had that thing not happened. But now I'm stuck here for at least one more day. And hopefully I can make it back to Chicago so I can go to work tomorrow. But I think in about 3 minutes, I am going to kill the feed and put this fire out because I do need to get up in the morning and deal with the insurance company and figure out what's happening if I'm getting a rental. Well, I know I'm getting a rental, but it's just a matter of I I drive a truck for my work, and I'm gonna have to fight. I know for sure to not get a sedan. I need like at least a minivan. Thanks, Kasabu. I'm glad I'm okay too. But about 2 more minutes, and I'm going to end it. Thank you, Salwe, and thanks for sticking around. Thanks for the stories, both Kasabu and Salwe. But I was at the dollar store picking up art supplies. Like, believe it or not, their art supplies like for $1.25. You can't beat it, and it works great for doing the dolls. And I have such a volume that buying other craft paints is really expensive. Like I bought some crackle from Amazon, and it was like $10 a bottle, and the bottles are smaller than what you get at the dollar store. But anyway, so I was at the dollar store yesterday, and they had on their clearance rack 50 cents for these monster Java Nitro lattes or something like that. Or, yeah, it was a Java latte from Nitro from Monster, and I had one of those just before the accident. And I'm so wired that I needed to do like I was trying to fall asleep and I couldn't, so I came out here and decided to stream. So thank you guys for being there for me during this, and I hope everybody has the worst nightmares possible. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and have a really awful sleep. No, I'm kidding. Have a great sleep. Thank you guys. Me love you long time. Nighty night. Sleep tight. Let the bed bugs bite everywhere.